Today we're with Asia's answer to Britney Spears. She's got the songs, she's got the moves, she's got legions of adoring fans.
I never imagined I would be this big, or that I would get so much out of this.
At just 20 years old, South Korean-born BoA is a pop veteran. She's been doing this for almost 10 years, notching up the number ones and the celebrity endorsement deals. BoA's all grown up now and hoping to make the transition countless other teen queens couldn't into the fickle world of mainstream international pop.
I've not stopped growing up, and I'll continue to grow up even more. So I want to show people more than simply my youthful image.
TalkAsia caught up with her in the middle of her nationwide tour. So thank you very much for joining us here on TalkAsia. Now this year has seen you release a new album, go on tour, sign up for a few more advertising deals, and you reportedly even shot a movie. How's it all going? You must be exhausted.
I am very busy these days, but it's okay, and I'm very glad to be here talking with you.
Thank you, it's a pleasure speaking with you too. When you were a kid and just starting out in this business, when you pictured what you expected out of life, is this ever how you thought that it would end up?
I think it has all been beyond my expectations.
BoA.
I never imagined I would be this big, or that I would get so much out of this. And I never thought I would be performing on so many stages.
Let's talk about those opportunities. So if we go back to where it all started nearly a decade ago, you accompanied your brother to a talent search that he had entered, and then you ended up walking away with the big prize. Take us back to that day and just tell us what you remember of that audition process.
It was just completely by chance that I followed my brother to his audition that day. Of course, even then, my dream was to someday become a singer, but I had no idea how to become one. I was only an elementary school student back then. But at the time, after seeing that such an incredible opportunity came to me, I thought that if you kept your dreams, even in your heart, then you find a way to realize them someday. And now that I think about it years later, I was so lucky to get such a great opportunity.
Still though, I mean, as you say, you're the one that got the opportunities. What about your brother? I mean, how did he feel about the fact that you're the one who ended up with the contract?
At first, of course, he was very disappointed. But he quickly found his own path, and now today he's a great supporter of mine.
Your parents were not exactly delighted over the fact that that would mean that you had to leave school, and they were very reluctant for you to do that and then enter the working world, so to speak. What convinced them in the end to let you do it? At
first they were very against my entering the music business. I was only a 6th grader in elementary school at the time of the audition. But my older brothers were a great help in convincing my parents why I should do this. And I really liked to dance and sing ever since I was a little girl. So my parents eventually agreed with me and my brothers, and finally ended up being great supporters of mine.
Still though, you can't really deny the fact that your childhood as it existed just stopped right there, even before you were a teenager. Do you ever think that you missed out on growing up the normal way?
I guess I never really had what you could call a normal childhood. But at the same time, I did get to experience things that people who went through a normal childhood never would have the chance to do. So I think the world has been very fair to me.
것을 얻을 수 있게 됐고 누구에게나 다 공평한 것 같아요.
I find that if you lose out on something, you get something in return. So personally, I learned never to complain about such things.
때문에 현실을 그대로 받아들이는 게 제일 좋죠.
Of course, I sometimes miss having the normal life of a student.
학창 시절이 가끔 그립기는 하죠.
You know, in the West, child pop stars are never taken seriously. Everybody just thinks, oh, well, you know, this is a cute publicity stunt. They're just going to fade away and they'll never be heard from again. Was that ever an issue for you in this part of the world?
글쎄요. 저도
Well, when I debuted in Korea, I was only 13 years old. So people were fascinated with me in those days.
그냥 마냥 신기하게 보셨죠.
And when I made my debut in Japan, I was just a teenager. So many people talked about how young I was at the time. But they also said that even though I was a teenager, my performance was good and my music was very strong.
굉장한 음악을 하는구나.
So I didn't know if all that praise was because I looked cool since I was only a teenager or something like that.
이게 10대라서 멋있어 보이는.
But I really think this is a major challenge for me. Everyone grows up and grows older. And so the issue is how much one grows and develops in step with one's age, and how well this growth can be conveyed to the public. Isn't this a task for everyone?
그거를 어느 만큼 대중들에게 보여주냐가.
But I really think that since I started out at such a young age, it's very important for me to select a good time for each turning point in my career.
포인트를 잘 잡아야 되는 게 가장 중요하다고 생각해요.
And, you know, genuine talent is certainly one thing, and you're known very much as well for your dancing, but there are still those people out there who say that, you know, you're a manufactured pop star, you're created and molded by your company, SM, and you sing the songs that they write for you. Do you think those people have a point?
참 만들었다라는 표현을 어떻게 듣는지.
I think it all depends on what you mean by manufactured.
근데 저의
I think SM Entertainment, for me, really laid a good path for my own career.
잘 만들어.
And the staff at SM and I were really able to cooperate closely on all of these matters. And a number of circumstances came together well to really make things work out even better.
떨어져서 그게 더 좋게 보여.
I think if one person were to force their own will on something, then things that should have gone right could easily go wrong.
누구에게 강요.
So all of the conditions really came together well to make me what I am today. So I'm not all that unhappy with the expression that I am a manufactured star. In a way, that is true.
그게 듣지 않고.
Because SM Entertainment created the environment and all the surrounding conditions, I am able to be successful in the way I am now.
그렇기 때문에 지금의 제가 있는 게 아닐까 생각이 돼요.
Next up, BoA's grueling path to the top, and why some fans in her native South Korea are calling on the pop princess not to forget her roots.
In no way have I left Korea. I still perform there, and I also want to perform in China and other parts of Asia.
You trained extremely hard for your debut on the pop scene. Give us an idea of what that involved.
우선
First, it's vocal training and dancing,
춤은 물론이고요.
and it's also learning Japanese. But I think the training to sing and dance was the most difficult.
노래랑 춤이 가장 어려웠던 것 같아요.
It's very different to sing and dance for fun from training to sing and dance in order to become a professional.
프로의 길에 들어가기 위해서 하는 거랑은 많이 차이가 있더라고요.
You've referred to your time adjusting to Japan as one of the loneliest times of your life. Describe for us what you went through.
일본에서 2년 동안 있었던 건 아니고요. 일본
I actually lived in Japan for only a month the first time. Before that, I studied Japanese for 2 years.
차원에서 한 달 정도 일본에서 산 적이 있는데
During my first month living in Japan, it was very difficult, especially because I was living alone without my family.
가족도 없이 혼자 왔거든요. 그래서 그때는
But after we decided on my debut in Japan, I came over to Japan and I lived here for about a year.
한 1년 정도 계속 일본에 살았었어요. 근데
But at that time, since I had my staff with me, it was not as lonely as before.
이라든지 이런 게 좀 많이 줄어들더라고요.
Although you live in Japan, you're obviously still a huge hit back home in your native South Korea, but there are some fans there who say that, you know, you've forgotten where you're from and that you're ignoring them. What do you say to those fans in South Korea who are watching this now?
글쎄요, 꼭 이렇게 굳이 이렇게
I really wish people would not make such a distinction. Because when it comes to performing here and performing back home in South Korea, there's not that much difference between the two.
한국 국내 활동에
But it seems many people think the two are quite different.
차이는 없거든요. 근데 많은 분들이 그렇게 생각을 하시더라고요. 근데 그만큼 저를 많이 보고
I believe all of this is because there are many people who love me and wish to see me. But I think many people are hurt that I'm not performing in Korea. But in no way have I left Korea. I still perform there, and I also want to perform in China and other parts of Asia.
You're a big part of what we in Asia know as the Korean wave, which refers to the popularity of Korean culture throughout the whole region. What does it mean to you to have been able to contribute to that in such a huge way?
글쎄, 우선은 제가 일본에 처음 왔을 때는
When I first came to Japan, there was no such expression as the Korean wave.
활동을 하시던 분이 일본에서 활동을 하는 경우
And at the time, I was the only Korean pop singer who was performing in Japan. But after the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup, many Korean songs and dramas spread over into Japan and China.
음악이 많이
And the expression Korean wave was created, and many Korean singers came over to perform in Japan.
한국 가수분들이 일본에서 활동하는 무대도 많아졌고요. 그래서
So I am really happy that all of this has happened. And I wish that these Korean performers keep doing well.
보여주셨으면 좋겠고
And I really hope Korean culture can spread to more parts of Asia and even around the world. And this inspires me to keep trying very hard.
알려줬으면 좋겠다. 그리고 저도 그만큼 또 열심히 활동을 해야 되겠다라고 생각이 들더라고요. 네.
So you mentioned getting into the Chinese market. You've also broached the inevitable topic, which is cracking the US. But SM says that you've got no intention of doing that anytime soon. Set the record straight for us. Is America on your wish list or not?
미국 진출은 아마 모든
Entering the American market is probably the dream of all performing artists. And of course, I do want to stand on the American stage if the opportunity arises.
서보고 싶은 마켓 중에 하나고
But I don't want to rush things and ruin my chances. So I believe that if I continue to work very hard, then the opportunity will someday present itself.
열심히 활동하다 보면 또 우연히 좋은 기회가 찾아오지
But
않을까.
from the point of view of my management at SM Entertainment, they are studying the possibilities very closely.
알아보시고 있으신가 봐요. 네. 좋은 기회가 오겠죠.
So in many ways, cracking the American market is probably not only a dream for me, but it's the dream of all performers.
네, 그런 꿈인 것 같아요.
BoA, stay with us. You know, growing up is hard enough for anyone, but doing it under the watchful eyes of millions of fans must be positively terrifying. And as for boyfriends, well, we'll discuss that right after the break. So, singing, dancing, and now acting. What's this I hear about you possibly being in a movie with Yao Ming?
글쎄, 저도 모르는 사이에 이렇게 기사가
I think such things were reported in the media without my knowledge.
없고요.
But I can tell you that so far nothing has been set. I'm certainly thinking about it. But since my image so far has been as a singer, many people are paying close attention to such things like this.
부담이 되기도 하는데 나는 그 정말 하거든요.
But if I am to enter the acting business, I want to make sure I act well for all my fans, just as I want to show my fans good singing on stage.
보여드리고 싶은 건 참 많은데
This is what I want to do as far as acting goes, but I just don't have enough time these
연기에
days.
관해서는 많은 기사가
So I can tell you that in terms of acting, nothing has been set.
확실하게 정해진 거는 없어요.
What about those rumours that you were slated to play Harry Potter's girlfriend in the last Harry Potter movie? Of course, that would have been an absolutely enormous break. But was it true?
I wish, but it's not true. 정말 저도 너무 깜짝 놀랐고요.
That rumor really caught me by surprise.
얼마나
I would have loved to do that. What a great thing that would have been for me.
전혀 뭐 근거 없는.
But it was really a groundless rumor.
오히려
And I think
저보다
people around me were even more surprised at this rumor than I was.
정말 해리포터의
They kept
보아가
asking,
나오냐.
is BoA really going to appear on Harry Potter? Of course I wanted to, but it was really a groundless rumor,
이고요.
though I was happy with the rumor.
기분 좋은 루머였어요.
Still though, you know, playing someone's girlfriend and being someone's girlfriend are two incredibly different things. How difficult is it for you to have a romantic relationship?
어렵다고 생각하면 어려운데 사실 그런
I guess having a romantic relationship could be difficult under my circumstances.
워낙 많은 나라를 돌아다니고 있기 때문에
But in reality, I don't have time to have such a relationship. I'm always touring in so many countries.
이기 때문에 아무래도 어디
And since I am a pop star, it's difficult for me to go to places as a normal person.
없어진 것 같아요. 네.
Is part of it about image as well? I mean, you've got this squeaky clean impression that everybody has of you. Do you worry about shattering that illusion?
좋은데요? 더 이상 바랄 건 없는데요. 근데
I like the clean image, in fact. I'm grateful that people would think of me in that way. But I think I've never really tried to be something that I'm not on the stage.
뭔가를 꾸미려고 해본 적은 없는 것 같아요. 그냥 있는 그대로를 보여드린 것 뿐인데.
So if people think of me in such a way with a clean image, then I'm grateful for that and I'll try to maintain this image.
하면서 나가고 싶고 예, 뭐 좋은데요.
So if you had any time, is there anybody that you're interested in now? I might be able to put in a good word for you somewhere.
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
Get in line.
Well, he has Cameron Diaz.
Yes, he has Cameron Diaz. Your 2004 album, My Name, showcased a more mature you, though some say that that was where your popularity started to decline. Do you think that the public is always going to see you as little baby BoA, like they still do with Britney Spears?
불가능한 일이죠. 왜냐하면 제가
It's impossible for me to stay young. I've not stopped growing up, and I'll continue to grow up even
그런
more.
것만 보여드리기에는 더 보여드리고 싶은 게 많은 게
So I want to show people more than simply my youthful image.
좀 더 많은 걸 보여드리고 그런 걸 보여드리는 저를 보면서
And I really hope people can accept me as a more mature BoA, both when it comes to my outer appearance and also when it comes to my songs.
받아들여주셨으면 좋겠어요. 아, 지금의 보아가 저렇게 많이 성숙해졌구나.
So while I apologize to these people who still want the baby BoA, in fact, what can I do?
그렇게 봐주셨으면 좋겠고
I just keep growing up. I
예전에
can't stop
어린
that from
모습만
happening.
기대하시는 분들에게는 너무 죄송하지만 저도 사람이기 때문에 어떡하겠어요. 성장을 해가는데 그건 어쩔 수 없는 것 같아요.
You've undoubtedly achieved a lot in your young life so far, but one of the things that you said that you also want to do is to perform in Pyongyang. What are some of the other goals that you want to pack into your life?
가끔 그럴 때는 있어요. 너무 많은 걸 손에 넣어서
I have sometimes felt that since I was able to achieve so many things in my life, it's all meaningless.
있었는데 근데 돌아보니까
But then I came to realize and understand that the process of climbing the ladder to popularity was easy and fun. But the process of maintaining that stage once you become popular is many times more difficult.
더 몇 배로 힘들더라고요. 나 지금
So my goal right now, today, is not necessarily to achieve something new for myself,
지금의 저를
but to maintain the position that I'm in and to continue to improve personally.
가장 큰 저의 목표인 것 같아요.
And that is really more difficult than anything else.
어떤 것보다도 어려운 일이고요.
BoA, thank you so much. Great, thank you. And that wraps up this edition of TalkAsia. The Korean pop sensation BoA has been the star of the show. See you again soon.